At the age of just 20, he became a king. At 25, he conquered half the known world, and by 30, he had built one of the largest empires in human history. His name echoed across continents, feared by kings and revered by soldiers. He was not just a conqueror, he was a legend. This is the story of Alexander the Great, the man who changed history forever. Alexander was born in 356 BC in Pella, the capital of Macedonia. His father, Philip II of Macedon, was a brilliant and ambitious king who transformed Macedonia into a strong and powerful state. His mother, Olympias, filled the young boy with a deep sense of destiny, telling him that he was descended from heroes and even gods. From the very beginning, Alexander's life was shaped by power, vision, and purpose. At the age of 13, Alexander's education took a remarkable turn. He was tutored by Aristotle, one of the greatest philosophers in history. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander studied philosophy, science, medicine, strategy, and literature. This was more than just royal education. It shaped his mind to think like both a warrior and a philosopher. He learned not only how to fight wars, but also how to rule nations and understand people. By 16, he had already shown his military talent. When his father went on campaign, Alexander was left in charge of Macedonia. A rebellion broke out, and the young prince crushed it with precision and strength. By 18, he led troops into real battle. And in 336 BC, when Philip was assassinated, the 20-year-old Alexander became king. Many doubted him. They saw him as too young to rule. But Alexander proved them wrong. His first actions were bold and decisive. He secured his throne, crushed uprisings, and united the Greek states under his leadership. His next target was far more ambitious: the mighty Achaemenid Empire of Persia. In 334 BC, Alexander crossed the Hellespont with an army of about 40,000 men. Against him stood the Persian Empire, the superpower of the ancient world. But Alexander was not intimidated. His first major test came at the Battle of the Granicus. The Persians expected an easy victory, but Alexander led a fearless cavalry charge. Fighting at the front, he struck directly at the Persian leaders. Against overwhelming odds, he won. This first victory sent a clear message: a new power had risen. A year later came an even greater challenge: the Battle of Issus in 333 BC. Here, Alexander faced Darius III, the king of Persia, with an army far larger than his own. But Alexander's strategy was brilliant. He outmaneuvered the Persians, broke their lines, and forced Darius to flee. This victory was more than military. It was psychological. Persia, once invincible, had been humbled. After Issus, Alexander turned to Egypt. The Egyptians welcomed him not as a conqueror, but as a liberator. He founded the great city of Alexandria, which would one day become a center of learning, trade, and culture for centuries. But Alexander was not done. In 331 BC, he faced Darius once more at the Battle of Gaugamela. This time, the Persian army was enormous. Yet Alexander's tactics were masterful. He led his forces with precision, pierced the Persian center, and claimed a decisive victory. Darius fled once again. Alexander now ruled the Persian Empire. In just a few short years, he had conquered lands stretching from Greece to Egypt and deep into Asia. He was now the most powerful man on earth. But for Alexander, there was always another horizon. He dreamed of reaching the ends of the world. In 327 BC, he turned his army eastward toward the Indian subcontinent. His ambition was limitless. In 326 BC, he reached Punjab and faced Porus, a brave and powerful ruler, at the Battle of the Hydaspes. The Indian army fought fiercely with war elephants and strong infantry, but Alexander's strategy once again prevailed. It was a hard and bloody battle, but he emerged victorious. But what happened after the battle showed his true character. Instead of humiliating Porus, Alexander was impressed by his courage and dignity. He returned his kingdom and made him an ally. This act showed that Alexander's greatness was not only in conquest, but in respect for strength and honor, even in his enemies. By now, his army was exhausted. They had marched thousands of miles, fought countless battles, and crossed harsh lands. When Alexander ordered them to march further east, his soldiers refused. The journey had reached its limit. Reluctantly, Alexander turned back toward Babylon, where he began to plan new campaigns and build his empire. But destiny had other plans. In 323 BC, at the age of just 32, Alexander fell gravely ill and died. His sudden death shocked the ancient world. In only 12 years of rule, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching across 3 continents. But his legacy went far beyond the borders he conquered. Alexander spread Greek culture, language, and ideas throughout the regions he ruled. He built new cities, encouraged trade, blended cultures, and connected distant civilizations. This fusion of cultures gave birth to the Hellenistic period, a time when Greek, Persian, Egyptian, and Indian traditions came together, creating one of the richest cultural eras in human history. Even after his death, his name continued to inspire. Generals fought over his empire, but no one could truly replace him. His vision of a united world influenced rulers, philosophers, and explorers for centuries. His strategies are still studied in military academies around the globe. His courage became legend. His ambition became history. Alexander the Great was more than a conqueror. He was a symbol of unstoppable ambition, of courage without fear, and of vision without limits. In just a short lifetime, he achieved what many could not in centuries. His story reminds us that greatness is not given. It is earned through vision, determination, and relentless pursuit of dreams. More than 2,000 years have passed since his death, yet his name still echoes through time. Alexander. The young king who built an empire, united cultures, and left a mark on history that can never be erased.